So yeah, so at the end of that, you spoke about paradigm. Can we just sort of go a little bit more into that, just to explain that a little bit more, what a paradigm is, and you know what we might do to update those?
Sure, Emma. Maybe before I do that, I just want to mention. So this man, this successful man that you sit and have a conversation with regularly, he's what you would call an unconscious competent. So he's getting the results, and he probably cannot articulate, why he is, because it comes naturally for him. So he's an unconscious competent. And when you're unconscious of what it is exactly that you're doing, it's non-transferable. You can't transfer it to help someone else get the same or similar results or better. Bob, like you say, he wanted to understand what changed, and he became a conscious competent. And when you're consciously aware of why you get in the results, right, from a mindset perspective, then it becomes transferable. Then you can give it to your kids or to your staff or to your partner or your colleagues. You're able to transfer those success habits to other people. So with regards to the definition of paradigm, if you look at the dictionary definition, a paradigm is simply a pattern. Dictionary definition, it's simply a pattern. And if you look at it in psychological terms, a paradigm is a mental program. So just like a computer, I mean, right now we're on the computer now, you've got your PowerPoint program, or you've got your email program. Those are all programs that were designed by developers, right? Now, similar to what's on your computer, you've got a program in your subconscious mind that dictates 96 to 98% of your results. So the paradigm is a mental program stored in a section of your subconscious mind that controls our behavior. And get this, almost all of our behavior is habitual. Almost all, 96 to 98% of what you do on a daily basis is automatic, meaning you move into action. You get up in the morning and you just go. I mean, if you live with someone, you could probably set a clock next to them. They probably wake up at the same time every day, whether they grab the coffee mug or the toothbrush or the TV remote first thing in the morning. It's kind of a pattern they get into, right? And if you get in the way of their pattern, I mean, God beware your soul, right? And this pattern just gets us up, and it takes us all through life. Now, this man, he by default had a pattern that set him up for success. For those who don't have a pattern like that, you got to be consciously aware of how to realign the habits, the belief system, the self-image, so that it's in harmony with what it is that you want. So that's what a paradigm is, Emma.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and it is actually, when you look at people and what they do, I'm always quite surprised. So you'll see certain people, in the property world that, always attending, the same networking events. They're always doing this, they're always doing that. And there'll be others that kind of drop in and out. And then on a sort of on a life basis, you'll have people that, as we say, that arrive on time, that arrive late. And it's kind of one of those things that is a really interesting, now that I know what that means, is it is literally their paradigm. Because I always used to think, like, I really try to get somewhere on time. Like, I really try and get there on time. And it was like, it was the traffic lights, it was this, it was that, it was the other. And as soon as I was able to see that it was my paradigm, I was able to totally turn that around and stop blaming everyone else, and actually realize that I was completely in control and I could do it. I just needed to make some different decisions to enable me to get there on time and to do those kind of things. So absolutely. So what can we do then to update those paradigms? Because they're very, very deep set within us, aren't they? As you said, this chap that we've been talking about, who's been very, very successful, started from humble beginnings, but just seemed to work very hard and take risks, do all of those kind of things. But reach that success. And there are other people, I suppose it's the nature nurture, isn't it? Sometimes, can you become successful if you don't have those kind of thought processes?
Look, I mean, some people do, right? I mean, some people have an emotional impact somewhere along their journey, and things change, or there's some sort of desperation, or you know, I think we firstly need to understand how the paradigm was formed, right? So your and my paradigm was formed firstly at the moment of conception. So a little cell from mom, a little cell from dad comes along, forms the nucleus of you, and very into the DNA, into the very DNA is programmed beliefs and habits. And right there, before you were even started growing in your mother's womb. And then you go through 9 months, and I think it's been proven now, 9 months in the womb, I think it's been proven that the baby in the womb is very susceptible to the conversations that's happening around the baby, and also susceptible to the thoughts, the energy, the vibration that the mum is in. That's why some babies come very calmly into the world and others come screaming. And it depends. It's a lot to do with the pregnancy, and that's all you know um, absorbed by the baby even in the womb. And here you come into the world, and you hear this little baby goo goo gaga in, and you've got all your parents, your aunts, your uncles, the grandparents around you, right, Emma? And they're all sharing these ideas. They're telling you stuff about yourself. The ideas in that environment are going right into, they're being dumped right into your subconscious mind. And it starts there in your little life, where you have no conscious ability to reject an idea, to say, that doesn't make sense, or this is not an idea that's going to serve me, and reject it. You don't have that ability. So we absorb in all those ideas right there before we even have the ability to think. And the genetic DNA, the programming in the womb and in our little life, that forms the paradigm. And at some point, your conscious faculties form. And then you've got this mental program that literally runs the show for the rest of your life. And a lot of people are getting the same results year in, year out. They mean better. They want to do better. And a classic example, Emma, every year at the start of the year, we see how our gyms fill up with people, the New Year's resolutionists, right? And they want to lose weight. They really want to get a handle on their health. They're serious. If you have a conversation with them, they are dead serious. But I've been training now for the past 20 years, and we see it every single year. Maybe not kind on our part, but we make a joke about it. We're like, 3-4 weeks, and you'll see basically how, because that first Monday of every year in the gym, you can't get a piece of equipment, man. And then 3-4 weeks later, you see how the numbers dwindle again. They've signed a year or 2-year contract, but they go right back onto the couch sitting with a bag of potato chips. And that's because they mean well. They're really trying to realign their habits, but they don't understand that the paradigm, the habitual pattern in the subconscious, is what needs to be changed first before the behavior changes. It's almost like they're fighting against themselves if they just understood. And that's why, understanding mindset, and with regards to your prospecting, growing your income, understanding the habits in your paradigm, you need to realign that first, so that the behavior and the change on the outside is automatic. So you're not fighting yourself. It's almost like this internal battle, and I promise you, inevitably, the paradigm wins out. If you don't have a strong emotional impact. Maybe let me share a bit more on the mind. Emma, I know you've seen this more times that you can count on all of your hands and fingers. But this, for anybody watching this is called the stick person. And this is a model of your mind. Now, the big top circle, that represents the mind, and the circle at the bottom, that's your body. Now, your mind is divided into two: the conscious thinking mind up there, that's the educated mind, it's where you pile the books up. And the bottom half of the mind, that's your subconscious mind, that's your emotional mind. The emotional mind is where the paradigm lives. That's where this mental program that we are discussing lives. Now, people deify the intellect, the educated mind, because your faculty of memory lives here. They give so much um, importance. And I'm not saying knowledge is not important, like it's vitally important, but we were sold an idea that knowledge is power. Knowledge is no such thing. Internalized knowledge or applied knowledge, that's where the power is. So people go, they get MBAs, they get degrees coming off their resume. But if you look at their results on the outside, it wouldn't demonstrate they've got all of that knowledge. Why is that? Because the paradigm is controlling what they do. You know, this man that you're discussing, Emma, I don't know his educational levels, but you find a lot of people that are hugely successful. Richard Branson's a typical example. I mean, he was dyslexic. I think, a lot of us know that. So he wasn't very good at the normal way of learning or doing things, but his paradigm and his mode of operating was really good in terms of his habitual patterns, his belief system, and that's why he's gotten the results he has. So we've got to understand the mind. So here's a model of the mind for you to work with. And we've got to understand that there's a mental program in your subconscious mind that is determining where you go, how you do it, whatever you're doing. It determines your confidence levels. It determines how you see yourself. Often people will step out and they've got this, small idea of who and what they are, and they step out to take action on the property goal or the property dream, but then you don't have a healthy concept in your subconscious, and that's what gives you this imposter syndrome. So you feel like a fraud or a phony because of what's happening inside. And if more people understood this and how to shift the paradigm, I think we'll have a much happier world, Emma.
Yeah, really, really incredible. And in fact, Kim's just said that it's that inner voice fighting against your goals or trying to stop it fighting against your goals. With that, I think I have mentioned this before. When I understood this kind of conscious and subconscious scenario, I did a lot of could be considered a bit kooky things. I did some, pre-life regression and all of these kind of things to really try and understand and to be able to change this subconscious, because I felt I was doing everything consciously, but I felt that I couldn't change the subconscious. But one of the things when you talk about the paradigm and you talk about the stick person, and this is what I really loved, it was that element of that where you talk about our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. And that was one of the things that was really clear to me, because you can be doing something. So exactly as you said, it could be speaking to a potential investor. You could be speaking to an estate agent. And I've definitely done that, gone into an estate agent and just thought, they don't believe me. They don't believe that I'm going to be able to do this. And I was basically internally, through my thoughts and feelings, walking away from that scenario. And of course, the agent is going to be feeling that. And there is this kind of like, talking about vibrations always sounds like, again, a bit kooky, but it's not at all, is it? You walk into a scenario and somebody, you feel really warm, you talk to them, it's just natural, it flows really well. And then another person, it just feels very prickly. They're looking very nice, they're smiley, you're the same, but there's just something really prickly between you. And it's kind of that vibration. And if you're giving out this kind of thoughts and feelings that aren't good, just because your actions look correct, those thoughts and feelings are different. And that was a huge thing for me with this paradigm, is understanding that actually, if I was able to take into consideration what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, that can actually have another really big impact on me.
Everything, I mean, what you're talking about there. So, I mean, vibration does seem a bit esoterical, but I think on a very practical level, we've all experienced that. Like, someone walks in, they say the same thing, but one individual resonates with you and the other just doesn't. But remember, if you go into any sort of conversation with that estate agent or that investor, and you go in with the attitude that they'll be lucky to work with me, or I'm really going to land this, I'm going to bring this in for a 3-point landing, and you walk in with an air of confidence, right? Not only that, they're going to see it in your body, in your physical expression, they're going to feel it, and they're going to want to work with you. Whereas if you're going in with doubts and pessimism, and they're not going to like what I have to offer, and you go in with all this sort of negative self-talk, not only is it going to be expressed in your body language, but they're going to feel it. Like, because look, when Emma talks about vibration, when we discuss vibration, what we've got to understand is everything in the universe vibrates, right? Nothing rests. We live in an ocean of motion. So this book right now is vibrating. Now, that might sound a bit cuckoo, right, Emma? But if you go and you put this under high-powered microscope, you'll see literally particles dancing. The wall is vibrating. Your body seems solid, but it is vibrating right now. Put it under high-powered microscope, you'll see particles dancing. So we live everything vibrates. And what you think and what you emotionally get involved with, right? So here's the stick person again. What you think up here on a conscious thinking level and what you get emotionally involved with affects the vibration of this physical instrument you live in the body. And vibration is felt. So if you're in a really good vibration, people feel it. If you're in a low, negative, depressed vibration, people feel it. You know how some people, you can have a conversation with them for 5 minutes and it seems like it was an hour because they suck the life out of you, right? And then other people, right, Emma, you can chat to them for an hour or two, but it seems like 10 minutes. Why is that? It's because they're in a good vibration. The other person is in a low vibration. So we've got to understand that, we live in an ocean of motion. We transfer in energy all the time. Your job as you step out to go after your property goal is just to make sure that you are in a good vibration all the time, that your mindset is really jacked, because I promise you, this is a difference maker. Bob Proctor used to say, you don't get rich by doing certain things. You get rich by doing things in a certain way. And that certain way is by law. So the thing is, what we're getting into here is the law of vibration. You've got to make sure that what you're doing is in harmony with law. Makes sense, right, Emma?